Good morning to all. Thanks so much for an invite and the opportunity to provide you with a view of how the industry understands this data flow regulatory approach. So I'm CEO of Warply. Warply, just to give you an idea, is a company that is working in advertising, is doing something that in advertising terms it's called DMP, which stands for Data Management Platform. So what we do is that we are a data brokerage platform that is helping big brands buy and sell data. So we handle first-party data, we handle second-party data, which means that a grocery retailer can exchange data with a bank because they have a common credit card program, or we also do third-party data, which means that I know that you're a new mom because you're buying something in your local grocery store, or you're reading for new child content, and then I can sell this data to P&G where they want to target you on advertising. So modern advertising has actually gone through a lot of evolution the last couple of 5 years. Right now we're in the process of, especially in the US, where something close to 70% of the digital online media spend has gone through this process of programmatic media buying, which means that I can target specific consumers based on their behavioral consumer location data, and I can actually buy advertisement very, very specific. When you go to New York Times and the web page is being rendered, I can see that you are the one that I want to target. Maybe you're a client of mine, I am P&G or I am Walmart, and I can bid in real time, and I can take this particular impression. So this means that there's a massive budget that's going on, that's running through the advertising channels, and this budget is actually being optimized by third-party data. So it's really interesting because I live in New York, so we have a large part of business here in Europe, and the idea is that we're kind of the only industry right now, as I've been discussing before here, that wants to be regulated, because there's a very interesting trend right now that actually we have large corporations that are taking this data management way of harvesting this data and targeting people in-house, because they want to merge them with their first-party data. I mean, P&G is doing couponing, they're doing CRM kind of businesses. So because of that, we have a lot of interesting approach. We have a lot of interesting discussions with their legal departments, because when they want to come and buy a data set, they have to go through all the data provisioning process. How someone had acquired this data. Is it an opt-in or an opt-out process? The end consumer is aware of that he's giving his data that can be sold to other entities. Does this make sense? Right now, because of the strict data regulation in Europe for the first-party data, it's really hard for an operator, for instance, which is an actual case, to take the first-party data, obfuscate them, anonymize them, and just upload them on the ecosystem out there and start making money. So this is a very interesting debate and a very interesting discussion that needs to be addressed, because this is a very massive industry, and the way that this data can be commercializable can be actually open a huge industry. The only way to do it right now, because there's a lot of legal discussion and there's a lot of lack of regulation. So I mean, there are some heuristics and some some private institutional approaches and best practices, like what the app has introduced, or what Mobile Marketing Association in the US has introduced. So if we manage to regulate this kind of procedure, it will be easier for all the stakeholders to take the first-party data, anonymize them, and just interchange them between the borders. And another very quick remark I'd like to do. We have a lot of customers that are right now trying to build their mobile wallets. They're either large retailers, or they're like mobile network operators or banks across Europe. So the entire concept of the SEPA initiative, where we have a single European payment area, makes a very rich data creation opportunity, and this will actually tap into the way we collect this kind of data that are being mostly consumer data. I know that you're actually going into Deleuze and you're buying something for your newly born child, so this makes perfect sense for these retailers to utilize this data after, of course, the end consumer has obtained into this process. So this is also something that needs to be addressed, because the way that SEPA actually tries to unify the European market in a single market that can actually lead to scalable business models, the exact same way we should approach the data provision market and the data exchange market between Europe. Thank you so much for your attention.